Well, Nicole, welcome to the A Safe Pool podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. We really appreciate it.
Thank you.
I guess when we start talking about layers of protection, what comes to mind for you?
So what are my barriers for my children, right? So I've got 4 boys, one who is just learning to walk and can barely grab the handle of a door. Yeah. And then 3 others that know very well how to use a chair to get up and unlatch the high lock. So our barriers start with, of course, the normal lock on a door and the higher lock that they couldn't reach when they were little, to make sure that we had a couple barriers on the door. Yeah. And then you go outside and there's a pool fence, of course, around the pool, because there's no chances taken with our children in the pools. And then those are kind of our main barriers, but also conversation. So I think it takes talking about, you don't walk across the street into oncoming traffic. You look both ways. Same thing. You don't get in a pool unless there's an adult nearby and you've made eye contact with that adult and they've said, go ahead and get in the water. Yep. So we do our best to ensure that they understand those processes. Yeah,
I think that's a critical piece of it, right? Is having those conversations, even with even with a 3-year-old child, they can grasp that, right? Yeah. And it's, hey, mom said, right?
If Nico, our youngest, can go grab his stuffy because he left it in the shower and understand that, I think he can understand, like, don't go over there.
Yeah. But it's the dangers just amplify big time when you have older children. Correct. Like you have, and then you have a little guy, right? 9 to 1, right?
Correct.
And a couple in between, and the 9-year-old's certainly capable of opening doors, and a little one can sneak out, right? So it's about educating the older ones that, hey, our little man here is not to be out there, right?
Yeah.
Unattended. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's very scary because he can open the door, or the dog can open the door. We have a Great Dane, so she likes to open the door when she sees fit. And then he can prop open the gate because he's like, oh, we want to go get in the pool. And so they've all learned they can stand on the gate and reach up high enough and unlatch the latch, right? So that's our first barrier into the water. Yeah. But we have told them again and again, there's no leaving it open because you can't chance it. Yeah. Or somebody else is over and a friend doesn't know how to swim. You can't chance it.
Right. Yeah. It's interesting. We have very large dogs. We have Mastiffs at home, and our old guy can just put his nose on the sliding door and push it open. Yep. Right. So it's interesting, but the larger chested dogs typically aren't good swimmers. So I was just curious if that Dane of yours
and we have a French bulldog, so we're good on keeping dogs out of the water.
Yeah. Those Frenchies cannot swim. They sink like rocks.
Pool fence, more needed. You don't want your dog in the water either.
All right. So just, as a mom, right, we're talking about, you're having the conversations, and we're talking about different layers of protection, and where multiple things have to fail, right, before we have an incident or an accident. And I think that's really what we're trying to drive home to everybody, is that, we don't want to rely on just one thing, we don't want to rely on just, hey, I told you to stay out of the pool. Yeah. We don't want to rely on just a pool fence or just an alarm or whatever it is, right? Where we want to have 3, 4, 5 things fail, right? And because the chances of all of those things failing are really minimal, right? So, that's what we at A Safe Pool really try to drive home. I mean, we're obviously in the business of selling pool fences, right? Yeah. That's what we do. Yeah. But it's really about the mission of trying to drive these drowning numbers down. And I just, it's almost frustrating at times that we don't see the numbers come down, right? Like, we're just really trying to get that message out there. And that's why we really appreciate, the platform that you and Michael and the foundation have brought to this cause, right?
Yeah. I mean, when you look at it, and I wasn't fully aware and had a full understanding, and I may never have a full grasp on it because hopefully I never lose a child. So I can't even imagine what a parent who has goes through. But when I started to understand what we were fighting for in one of our missions with the Michael Phelps Foundation and the importance of water safety, you can make kids safer in the water. You can't necessarily make them safe, right? And so all of those barriers and things that you're talking about are how can we make our kids safer in the water? And how can we make sure that we are ensuring families understand what can happen? And I think for a long time, we were afraid to have these conversations. And now people are opening up and people are willing to talk about what took place and how fast it happened. And, oh, I had a pull fence, but the gardener left the gate open. And there's so many factors that play into how things happen that are out of our control.
Yeah. How do you think the Michael Phelps Foundation is changing people's lives? Just, in general, like what, I know what the missions are, but the people out there don't.
Of course. Our mission is to help families be comfortable and confident in the water and on land. I'm only going to touch really on the water safety part, but we also have a mental health component that plays into it. When we go out and we speak on water safety, our programming is put into boys and girls clubs where typically the kids aren't, or I guess they don't have access, I want to say, to learning about being able to swim, or typically their parents are afraid of the water and they want nothing to do with it. So these kids, underprivileged families that don't have access to this information are now gaining that access. So we'll take the kids, we'll go through emotions, we'll go through goal setting, we'll go through healthy lifestyle, so how you eat, and then we'll teach them about exercise and what it means to get in the water. And then when they're in the water, we're teaching them about like breath and buoyancy and how to control your body in the water and how to get comfortable with the water. And first and foremost, we want children comfortable in the water, because if they fall in that water and they're not comfortable, they're going to panic. Yeah. And we know what that leads to.
And where are you guys doing that? Is it like at YMCAs and stuff like that?
So Boys and Girls Clubs.
Okay.
And we also partnered with Special Olympics. We do supply our programming to those that also reach out. So it takes a good amount of money for us to be able to fund these programs. So if somebody reaches out and we see it a fit, then we will help them provide the programming. But it does take us bringing in their instructors. We train them in classroom, and then we train them and provide program pamphlets where they can go home, and then so it's train the trainer essentially.
Okay.
That way we can deploy more programming than it would be if we were just trying to teach kids to swim.
Yeah. So I guess, can we talk about the money real quick?
Yeah,
I mean,
more than happy to.
I'm curious how you guys go about raising funds.
Yeah.
How much, if you want to divulge that, like how much money does that take to do these programs?
It's less than you would think it is, right? So it costs more to bring everybody in and to train them and get them situated. But it costs us $5,000 to get our programming into a Boys and Girls Club.
Okay.
So every $5,000, if you want a brand new Boys and Girls Club, then we can put the programming in there. But then it still has to be ran year after year, and we're paying for that programming to be in Boys and Girls Clubs. If we don't give them the grants, they're not continuing forward with the programming.
I see.
And so what we found is that when they are in these programs, they learn life lessons. They become more confident in who they are. They understand different ways, whether it's talking to their parents or working through problems at school. It provides them the confidence to do this because now they have the confidence in the water. And it's really cool to see. And I know that sounds kind of odd, but it's actually been really neat. There's a kid that we followed he was 9 years old when he started with us. And it took him 4 times to pass the programming. And they have to pass the different tests that the instructors provide the kids. And so once they pass, they receive their medal like Michael did.
Yeah.
And that's awesome. They feel good about themselves.
Yeah, for sure. They have something to be proud of. They've accomplished something. Yeah. That's great. Yeah. So what sort of things do they do to, I guess, graduate, if you will, or earn their medal?
They learn, obviously, goal setting. So we talk about like, okay, where do you see yourself? Like, here's a globe. Tell us what you see in your future. How are you going to get there? So we teach them how to kind of set small goals to attain the bigger picture. So that's one piece of it. They have to be able to talk about what nutrition kind of looks like, right? We can't expect too much out of them. So what it means to be eating healthy. And then the most important piece is how they are in the water. So they have to pass stroke tests. They have to be able to float. We don't do a lot of holding breath, but be able to hold your breath to swim properly. Right. So we work through things like that with them. Yeah,
that's great. How many have you guys set up over the years? Do you know?
I believe we're at 162 clubs. I'm sorry. We're at 62 countries worldwide with Special Olympics, and we're at 232 clubs nationwide.
Wow.
So, and some of them have left us and some of them have stayed, some have closed. So there's been, varying stuff, but we also partner with, we're with like Josh the Otter. And then there was a program out of SoCal. So we also partner with swim safety programs too, to help fund whatever they're doing and how they're providing swim safety around the nation.
And then, so one Boys and Girls Club set up through you guys. How many children can that impact?
It depends on how many people they have in there, and then how many are willing to do the swim. Because it was really interesting. Michael and I were attending a training, and we had a trainer who had just witnessed twins pass. So one twin jumped in, the other twin went in to save them, and it didn't work out the way that you would hope that it would.
Right.
And that instructor saw it happen. So they had never been taught to how to swim either. So that woman was at our training, and she's like, well, I just saw this, and I'm afraid of the water. I don't want to get in the water. So it was just kind of like talking to her and coaching her through it. So we're not only getting the kids that are afraid and the parents, but also some of those coaches that are coming to learn our programming who are also afraid.
Huh.
The biggest thing is we want to save lives. And we've been shouting as loud as we possibly can about needing swim safety and more active. I get pediatricians talk about it, but there needs to be more action around it, not just, oh yeah, let's talk about it and then let's forget about it tomorrow. Because this isn't something that's going to end tomorrow.
Yeah.
Like there's water everywhere. And as you come into the summer months, it's not only children that we're worrying about, it's adults too, and making sure that adults are aware.
You're just so authentic about it. And it's not just a show.
We care.
It's like you guys, and you can feel that.
Thank
right?
you.
When we talk here and when we talk off camera, like it's a real thing. And we just really appreciate that about both of you, and so happy that you're here.
Thank you.
So let's talk about your own backyard.
Fair enough.
Okay. So 4 crazy boys running around.
Yep.
Right. Youngest one's youngest one is 1. The oldest is 9, and a couple in between.
Yep.
So I know that A Safe Pool put the fence around your pool.
Yes.
Right. And so I guess, can you tell me about that and how it's maybe giving you some peace of mind? And are the boys trying to climb it and get through it, or?
No, thankfully they've always respected the fence, right? So it was when it went up, we actually put it up prior to moving into the home. So we moved into our home in 2018. So 2018, and we didn't move in for 2 months, and we put a pool fence up right away.
Yeah.
Because we knew that if anybody got into our backyard and we weren't there, we would have no knowing. Right. So we just wanted that barrier. So when we moved in, the kids saw it, and it was just something that was there. And so we taught each of them, this is the pool fence. You can't get through. You guys installed 3 different gates. So 3 different access points for us.
Right.
However, we only keep 1 unlocked.
Perfect.
So it just kind of makes, everybody can see that corner. Nobody can see the other 2 corners. So it keeps that barrier alive for us to be able to see where kids are. And then, like I said, real conversations with the kids, and no one's allowed through that pool fence, and unless an adult is walking through the kids, and making sure that they're paying attention, because if Maverick gets in, they're all safe in the water, but that doesn't mean that there's not an accident or something goes wrong or something happens. So they're aware they can't go in without an adult.
Even if they're good swimmers, like they can still slip and hit their head, or
100%.
All kinds of different things can happen.
Yeah.
Right?
And they're running. They want to run, they want to jump, they want to, whatever. Beckett loves to lay on the bottom of the pool. So it's like, hey, Bex, are you okay? Like, we know you're down there, but can you breathe? Right. So, watching them very closely.
It's just, there's been, a couple of stories where, one, when I very first started, by the way, I went out and met with a couple that had a couple young boys, and the dad was adamant that he did not want a fence. And I remember like it was yesterday.
Yeah.
The mom was like, please, we need to do this. And it's kind of a weird situation for me. I don't want to get in the middle of a of a husband and wife discussion or whatever. But I'm like, well, okay, so we left. I said, okay, you guys talk it over and let me know.
Yeah.
And 2 weeks later, one of the little boys ended up drowning. And, so I've seen this happen over and over again. Yeah. And it just, I'm so passionate about it, and I'm glad that you guys are too, because it can destroy families, like especially when they're butting heads over getting it or not.
Right.
Or there's been other cases where it's happened at a grandparent's house. Several years ago here in Scottsdale, I was in a backyard, and doing an estimate for a lady. She was a grandmother. And I was just talking to her about how she wanted to put the fence, where she wanted it placed. And she just started breaking down and sobbing. Oh. And I didn't know what else to do other than give her a hug.
Yeah.
Like she's crying. I just walked over and I hugged her and I said, "Are you okay?"
Right.
And she said, I had twin grandsons and one of them drowned in that spa right there. Oh. And she said, "I haven't been in this backyard since then."
Oh my goodness.
And she said, "But I have to get a fence because I'm ready to see my grandkids over here again."
Yeah.
And I don't want to have them over here without that. So it's just, when you see and talk to people that have experienced this, it just makes me more and more motivated to spread the word and get this out there and let everybody know that it can happen to you.
That's in the blink of an eye, right?
It's so quick and it's so quiet. She got distracted for a couple minutes.
It's all it takes.
Yeah. Her particular case is she went to use the restroom. Oh. And the door was cracked open. One of them slipped out and she couldn't find them. The first place they look is the pool. And So anyway, so I guess shout outs to the moms out there, really, right? Because in my experience in the 20 years that I've been doing this is the moms are typically on board, and to all the dads out there, right? You need to get on board.
Listen, like you're not with the kids 24/7 and the kids, you just don't know. It happens so fast. And like you were saying in those stories, it happens rapidly and it happens silently. Yep. And before you know it, you're trying to resuscitate a kid and you don't ever want to put yourself in that position when you can prevent that.
Yeah. So how can people help fund the Michael Phelps Foundation?
So if you go to michaelphelpsfoundation.org and you click on the donate button or michaelphelpsfoundation.org/donate, that's how you can help us fight this massive fight of needing more information out there about water safety.
Yeah. And we at A Safe Pool are trying to raise funds for the foundation as well.
And we're grateful.
Every estimate that we do, every job that we do, the customers are given an opportunity to donate to that cause. And so we're doing everything that we can to try to raise as much funds as possible and further that mission.
We appreciate that. Thank you.
And thank you for being here today.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
Okay.
Hey, this is Tanya. Thank you for watching the A Safe Pool podcast. If you'd like to know more about water safety, please visit us at asafepool.com.